Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're continuing with Tainted today, and we're doing chapter 5, which is Numb You Wouldn't Understand. So, we're just going to dive right in. The following morning at the office, Clay is already at the gate when Kevin pulls into the parking lot. Clay waits for him so that they can talk without Scott or a risk of getting hurt. The cameras are always recording, and he knows that there is nothing that Kevin would do to injure him. Scott made that clear last night. Kevin walks up to the gate as Clay greets him, and his return greeting has it seeming as if nothing happened last night. Wanting to get inside, Kevin tells Clay that there is much work to do and that there is nothing but time to talk about everything that he wants to once they're inside. He doesn't want to stand outside all morning discussing something that he's been prepared for since the moment that they left last night. Satisfied with that, Clay opens the door so that they can get started and reminds him that there is nothing more valuable in life than family, and that they are brothers and always will be, no matter what happens. So why should I place my fate in your hands? Kevin asks. I'm not asking you to place your fate in my hands, bro. I'm simply looking out for you and want you to see that there is nothing that I can't be trusted with. I will guard your secrets, and I don't like it when you shut me out. We are brothers and we work together. But when you're inside your head, you're too quiet, and it's like you're someone else instead of the man I know. I don't like that. I don't like coming to work those days, Clay answers. I might look like someone different in those times, but that's simply because I am. I head into a part of my soul where the only thing that exists is pain, suffering, madness, chaos, and numbness. A numbness that no one, not even you, could ever understand or relate to, and for your sake, I hope you never have to learn the meaning of it, as it will devour your entire being, Kevin says darkly. You're not alone, though, Kev. You have me and other people who care about you, and I know you don't want to hear it, but you also have Bella. Remember what she told you, that you guys will be together one way or another until the day you guys die. She cares about you, Kev, and I truly do wish I never gave you that advice last time, because I never thought that it would lead to this. You're different. Why you still enjoy our time together? I can see the light in your eyes getting dimmer with each passing day, and that's not you, bro. It's just not. It's the pain, it's the anger, it's the hatred, but that's not you. I know you, and that's not you. The sincerity in Clay's voice only has a minimal effect on Kevin. I find it truly amazing that you can stand there and tell me who I am, when in reality I haven't known who I am for years. I spent years trying to get back to this due to the relationship I was in prior to meeting Bella. I gave a decade of my life away, just like that, in the blink of an eye. I lost hope and faith, and I was resigned to the fact that I was never going to experience love. But I was wrong, and honestly, I'm glad I was. I felt love the first moment I laid my eyes on Bella. I felt something in my stomach. As stupid as that sounds, I knew I loved her then, and I will always carry her in my being, one way or another. But I have to do this, and mentioning her is not going to stop this or change who I truly am, Kevin says. Okay, talk to me, bro. I'm here to hear you out and try to help you. I promise I won't judge you or think any less of you, Clay replies. So much to say. I guess we can start off when love stopped meaning anything to me. Back when I was a young boy, trying to figure out who to be, I was told I could be a rabbit, like most of my family. Do what they were there to do, and that was it. Never try to achieve anything else. That was how my family had been for generations, and I knew I didn't want that. So I took option 2, which I believe any normal person would have done. I worked my butt off to become a wolf, the best of the pack, if you will. I watched them work a job that none of them enjoyed, and in the process of trying to understand what I didn't want, I worked it for a little bit as well, instantly knowing that wasn't what I was meant to do. I realized that I needed to work even harder because I couldn't let that be my fate, and there was nothing that was going to force that upon me, Kevin says. What kind of work was it? Clay asks. It was a farmer's life, but that's not my life. As a young boy, I was taught to go after what I wanted, and that's what I did. I never wanted that life, so I had no problem leaving it behind, along with those people. There comes a time when we all make a decision of who we want to be, and I did that at a very early age. Yet I knew that things wouldn't be easy, and I learned that you need to have the ability to erase failure or people who you don't need in your life. In some cases, it's necessary to eliminate the people who matter most to you in order for your growth to continue. And that's how you know your worth. When you can cut out those who are most important to you, even if it kills you on the inside, Kevin answers. You've done a good job so far for yourself, bro. No need to keep torturing yourself. You can coast from here, Clay says. Coast? There's no such thing in my world. I don't coast. That would be stupid for me to do, as it would be the same as settling, and I simply won't settle. I want to be leaps and bounds ahead of everyone in my family and live the best life possible, not just for me, but for any future child of mine. I refuse to have a child only to leave them suffering or feeling like I can't give them what they desire. My father did a great job with me, setting the bar pretty high, a bar that will be a challenge to surpass, but knowing me, I will take that challenge just like all the others, head on, without fear in my heart, and that means those challenges will never, ever break me, Kevin adds. Scary part is, I believe all of that. I've only known you for a little over 3 years, but the one thing I'm certain of is that you always achieve what you set your mind to, because you're like a stubborn pit bull who doesn't know when to let go of something, Clay says. Thank you, Clay. I know it's hard for you to hear, but I hope that after listening to my story, although it's not the entire story, you can understand that I need to be numb at the moment. I need to not feel a darn thing, because these effing emotions are tearing me apart, and not having Bella by my side was and is my biggest fear. But I know that once I get past this, I will be the strongest version of myself to date, Kevin replies, their conversation dying at the entrance of Mickey. Mickey noticed there was a lot of talking before he entered the room, but now there is nothing but silence. The feeling of the room is awkward, yet he doesn't know how to go about breaking the tension in the air. Knowing that they went out with Scott last night and that things tend to get a little out of hand when Scott and Kevin are together, he knows that something big must have happened. None of them are saying anything, and Kevin is working on one side of the room, far away from everyone else, in order to avoid any further conversation. Feeling that Mickey is interested in having a conversation, both Kevin and Clay avoid him, not wanting to engage in any conversation where they might have to talk about what occurred last night. With Mickey knowing only pieces of their plans, it's likely that he's curious about what happened after he left. Fortunately, Mickey's attention is diverted by the arrival of Scott. Mickey tries to talk to him instead, but his attempts at being funny fall on deaf ears as Scott passes by, completely ignoring him. Mickey's shocked confusion at being ignored and the expression on his face causes Kevin to laugh. Scott starts to set up for the day and sees that Kevin and Clay are in different corners of the room, which is extremely odd given how close they are. He walks over to Kevin and reminds him that they need to act as normal as possible to avoid any suspicion. Smiling, Kevin looks at him and tells him that everything is fine between them and that the only reason they were separated was to avoid Mickey bringing up events from last night. That eases Scott's mind, as he doesn't want to get caught over something so stupid. Wanting to make sure that they are still on the same page and curious about how they will proceed from here, Scott asks Kevin what he wants to do later that night. I don't know. I was thinking of hitting the strip club for a bet, Kevin answers. Want to come along? Sure, I'm down. Are we having fun tonight, or is it just a show? Scott answers. Oh, I'm going for the show. But trust me, afterward, there's going to be a sweet, delightful suffering, Kevin answers, his lips turning up in a wicked smile. Okay, good. I was hoping that was the case, Scott smiles back. I actually have someone in mind already, and believe me, it will be the most fun we will have all week. I think we can stretch this one out to last several days, Kevin replied. Yeah, we're going to have fun, Scott says. Oh, you know it. I can promise you that things will be entertaining, to say the least, Kevin replies, bringing another smile to both of their faces. Oh, Lord. They resume working as Clay tries to overhear the conversation, but since they are so far apart, he can't make out much of what is being said, only catching the tail end, unsure of where they are going. and wary of them and their plans. He goes against his instinct of wanting to know more and remains where he is to avoid landing on Scott's bad side. He knows they are already on thin ice in regards to them being friends or having anything that resembles some type of bond. Clay continues to work while plotting a way to find out what their intentions are for tonight, and it suddenly occurs to him that he might be able to use Mickey to get information. Not wanting to make the others suspicious, he nonchalantly makes his way to Mickey's desk and asks for the favor of all favors. He explains that things aren't as smooth as they have always been between them, and this is something that could end up breaking all of their bonds if left untreated. Feeling the same way, Mickey agrees with Clay. He tries to find out from Clay why they are all so far away from each other, but Clay only response is to say that in due time it will all be explained, not knowing what that means, as he doesn't know what happened last night, as has him thrown off balance because he believed for so long that he was one of them, but it's becoming clear that being one of them is something that will elude him, especially after refusing to partake in their activities in the past. With a desire to know what went down last night and what will happen next, Mickey heads over to Kevin to have a brief conversation to see what he has planned for tonight and to see if it's something he might be willing to participate in order to reestablish their trust in one another. Hey bro, how are things going? Mickey asks. Same old stuff, just working. Don't really want to be here given everything I'm going through, Kevin answers. About that, you do know that things will work out with Bella, right? I'm sure of that, bro. You guys look great together, and it would be stupid to give up on that, especially over a misunderstanding at a club, Mickey says. Huh? You talk as if you know everything that's going on. It's funny because whenever I ask you to join in on something, you always have a reason not to do so. Then you come here acting as if you know me and everything I've been through. Don't patronize me because things will not end well for you. Of that I'm sure. Unless you have all the facts. Learn to keep that effing mouth shut, Kevin snarls. Bro, I'm sorry if I bothered you, but know that I just want to help, and I'm here if you want to talk or hang out, Mickey says. You want to hang out? Kevin asks skeptically. Yeah, brother, I want to hang out. I think we'll have fun, and it will be beneficial to you as well, Mickey answers. Okay, well, if you want, you can join us at... Okay. Well, if you want, you can join us tonight when we go to the strip club. We already have plans made, so it wouldn't be fair to cancel them at this point, Kevin says. I don't want to go to a strip club, bro. Let's do something else, Mickey replies. No can do. I already texted Georgia to let her know that we're coming, and I'm honestly happy to see her. I think you misunderstand my intent. I don't have a desire to remold something that's been crushed. At this point, what I want is to look into a beautiful woman's eyes and get lost in them, Kevin explains. You have that in Bella, bro. Come on, let's do something else, Mickey tries to coax. I had that with Bella. No more. Never again. I will stick to the original plan, and you're more than welcome to come. But I know you won't. In the event that you do decide to go, I'll know I've awoken to a world gone crazy because it's all backward and Bella would still be by my side, Kevin says sadly, as Mickey starts to walk away. Raising his voice to Mickey's retreating back, Kevin says, most times I've learned that fate takes a man far away from his heart for a reason. Mickey returns to Clay, informing him of their plans to go to a strip club. Clay says that he isn't allowed to go near them because of threats made against his life, but that one of them should go. He repeats the part about the risk to his life to make sure it's clear that it can't be him. Mickey states that the places like that go against everything he believes in, and he can't step foot inside one. He tells Clay that he tried to persuade them to do something else to no avail, as Kevin had already made plans with one of the girls to meet there and have fun. Not satisfied with that answer, Clay informs Mickey that it will be him going with Scott and Kevin tonight because at this point, he is the only one who can make sure that nothing else goes wrong and to prevent them from getting into any trouble. Mickey says he'll think about it because he has no desire whatsoever to go to one of those places, and even if he did, his girl probably wouldn't appreciate it. Disappointed, but not surprised by Mickey's response, Clay remembers why it is they never hang out with him outside of the office. They continue to work without saying much else to each other. Throughout the day, things between Clay and Kevin seem normal, as if nothing happened. Jokes and stories flow the way they normally do. Clay believes that the conversation this morning is what helps them reach this state. But the reality is that Kevin truly does enjoy working and hanging out with him. And that's why when he needed someone to stand by him on this quest of bringing into a new wave of fear, Clay was one of the first people he thought of after Scott. The fact that Clay turned him down actually brought more pain to Kevin's already beaten pride. After everything that has happened with Bella, he believed that if there was one person who wouldn't hurt or betray him, it would have been Clay. But his refusal actually hurt him. Not to the extent of the situation with Bella, but it's right up there on his list of painful events in his life. There is no hesitation inside of Kevin and Scott when it comes to hurting someone else, but with Clay, it's different. Despite there being some pain caused by his decision not to stand by his brothers in this instant. Oh, God. After work, Trey tries to call Kevin and ask him if they can do something like go to a gym, a bar, or anywhere else in order to try to persuade him not to follow through with his plans for the night. But Kevin doesn't answer his phone. This is usual as they talk almost every night after work, especially so since the Bella ordeal, in order to keep him on a positive mental state. Not sure how to approach Kevin now, he tries to call him once more, but this time the call goes straight to voicemail after the first ring, causing him to realize that Kevin is ignoring him. Upset and frustrated that he has been ignored, Clay is seriously considering meeting up with them at the club tonight, since he knows which one they will be going to. Making it seem like it was a coincidence that they were at the same place will be the trick, though, especially after making it known in the past that he doesn't like going to those places anymore due to having started a family and not wanting anything to ruin it. It's now 9 o'clock at night, and Clay still hasn't received a call back from Kevin. He's aware that Kevin and Scott should be at the club around this time, and despite wanting to meet them there to confront Kevin, he decides to wait until they are back at work on Monday, or if they meet at the gym tomorrow. Scott arrives at the club before Kevin and sends him a message. Kevin receives it just as he is pulling into the parking lot. Looking at his phone, he sees that Clay has called him a few times along with having sent him several messages, but knowing that a conversation with Clay isn't going to lead to anything fruitful right now, he decides against replying as he has other concerns on his mind. Meeting at the door, they walk into the club, and Kevin quickly takes a glance at the bar, hoping to see Jessie, but it's not her serving drinks. He hears his name from the stage, and without turning around, he already knows who it is that called him. A smile takes over his face because she was the main reason he came here tonight. He turns around with the biggest smile on his face after she calls him a second time, only to see that she has a big smile on hers as well. Scott sees this exchange and realizes that he has turned into a place where Kevin comes to get a few drinks and clear his mind when things get too hectic in his head. Head over to the bar and I'll meet you there when I'm off the stage, baby, Georgia calls to him. I'll be eagerly waiting for you, Kevin replies with a smile. How many times have you been here? Scott asks. Just a few times, maybe 4 or 5. But I always see her, so that's why we have these kinds of interactions. She's cute, though. Man, is she cute. It's a shame that she's so young. Otherwise, I would have tried going out with her. Kevin answers. She's definitely cute, I'll give you that. But she's just like every other woman, Scott says. What do you mean? A confused Kevin asks. It's just flesh. Nothing more, nothing less, Scott answers as they head over to the bar. Once at the bar, they continue to talk While looking around, Kevin has one particular person in mind who he thinks they should choose for the new brand of fun, and starts to tell Scott about her. He pauses briefly to glance around, wanting to make sure that Georgia doesn't walk in on the conversation. Not this one. Fully aware of his surroundings, Scott makes his eye contact with the bartender as he is thirsty and would like a beer. She is busy with another guy at the end of the bar, but still gives him a wink, letting him know that she'll be right over. Picking up where they left off, they continue to talk when Kevin signals to him that that's the girl, the one walking into the club now, who they will take home and proceed to show the wrath of a god. Scott taps him on the shoulder, signaling for him to shut up for a minute as the bartender is coming their way to get their drink order. Well, hello there, handsome, the bartender says to Scott. Hello, Scott replies with a smirk. What can I get you guys? She asks. I'll take a beer. Anything you grab is fine with me, Scott answers. I'll take a glass of Merlot, Kevin adds. Are you guys starting a tab? She asks. Sure, I don't see why not, since we're going to be here a while, Kevin answers. The main thing on their minds is getting that stripper out of the building so they can have their fun for the night. And Kevin has an idea of how they're going to do it. He informs Scott that he will get his usual dance with Georgia, but before they leave, he will get a dance from her so they can get the tone and take her home. He already knows the way to get her to agree to do things, and it will be easy to convince her. Scott agrees to the plan and has no reason to doubt that it will work out just fine, because so far it has been a smooth transition from just being work friends to a growing brotherly bond. Just as Scott is about to start talking more about the plan, it's Kevin who taps him on the shoulder. This time it's Georgia is walking up toward the bar. Hey baby, how have you been? It's been so long since you were last here, Georgia says, embracing him in a hug. I know it's been a while, but now I'm here, and I only come to see my favorite girl, Kevin answers. Then asks, how are things with you? I'm okay, I just don't want to be here, but it's better now that I know you're here, Georgia answers. I'm sure you say that to all the men, Kevin says with a smile. You got me, baby. No. Seriously, I hate people, but this job pays well. And even though I don't want to do this forever, I keep coming back. I do enjoy it more when you come by, though, as we talk and it doesn't feel like work. Georgia replies, Thank you for that. I truly appreciate it, Kevin says as Georgia hugs him once more. Here's your beer, handsome, the bartender says, smiling from ear to ear, and your wine. I would give you a compliment as well, but I can see your hands are full of that sweet butt at the moment. Kevin's hands are currently roaming along George's body. Thank you. Yeah, he's a little bit busy at the moment, and I don't think he will even notice if you were to drink the wine, Scott replies with a chuckle. I'm a beer type of gal. I would have a sip of yours if you want to share your drink with me, she says as she closes in on Scott. I don't think you want any of my beer, but I can give you something else, Scott says. What do you have in mind, she asks. I'm thinking something along the lines of entertainment, some screaming, spanking, rough sex, and it will be full of alcohol and pleasure, Scott answers. Sounds like a good time, handsome, but there's only one problem with that. You don't even know my name, she says. I don't see a problem in that. I'm not looking for anything long-term or even anything past tonight. I just got out of a relationship, as did he, and it has taken a toll on us. He is clearly going to have his fun with her, so I figured I might as well throw the line out there and see if I can wheel in a little fish, since we do love our snappers, Scott replies. Wow. Well, I don't want anything serious either, but my name is Annie, and I think we'll have a lot of fun tonight. Handsome, you're a quiet little devil, and I can feel my thighs moisten as I think of all the possibilities, Annie says. Sorry. Well, F me then. I guess I need to make sure we take care of that, Scott replies. Georgia and Kevin continue to tease each other, completely ignoring Scott and Annie, who are busy doing their own thing. All in good fun, Scott tells Annie that things will happen tonight that she could never imagine, and that Georgia should count herself lucky that she's not the only one going home with Kevin tonight, and that the one thing that will save her is the fact that he enjoys her company so much that he wouldn't want to ruin it by bringing her home. Not sure what to make of the comment, Annie stands there thinking it over for a moment, but reaches over the bar and pulls her over to him so he can kiss her and erase any doubt that might have crept into her mind while keeping a distance from him. A distance that he will see erase. 1 second. Sorry about that. All right, Georgia looks at Annie and smiles. She has Kevin's hands all over her, and she doesn't want him to stop because it feels so good to have someone whom she actually likes and gets along with pretty well to show her some type of affection. Kevin sees that things are going well with Scott and Annie, so he continues to enjoy George's company. He hasn't even had a taste of his wine, deciding he'd rather taste her as he drops to his knees, placing his head in between her thighs. "Hey, you can't do that," the manager yells from the other side of the room. "Keep going, baby, don't worry," Georgia encourages. "Stop it now," the manager yells. "Don't stop, baby, it's okay," Georgia says, panting. "Stop it now," the manager yells once more. "Okay, baby, I'm done here. I'll take care of you later tonight," Georgia says as Kevin returns to his feet. Wow. The manager comes over and sees that it's Kevin. He greets him with a handshake, then informs them that they can't be doing that in the bar area and that Georgia knows better and that they should take this as a warning. Even though the man wasn't being rude or loud, Scott didn't appreciate the manner in which he was speaking to Kevin. He felt that he was coming off as a prick, but sees that Kevin doesn't give a darn about it, so he refocuses on Annie. Walking out from behind the bar, Annie stands next to Scott, boldly pulls his dick out. Okay. I tripped over my words. Give me a second. Okay, Annie stands next to Scott, boldly pulls his dick from his pants, and begins to jerk him off in the corner of the bar behind Georgia and Kevin. It appears that this is shaping up to be a night in which all things will be possible for them to do whatever they desire. Oh my goodness. Scott has the ultimate poker face. Not one emotion shows to give way what is going on. Tempted to do the same, Georgia opens Kevin's pants, but he tells her that his face will give them away. He suggests going outside and she could do it there, to which she agrees. She is eager to have some type of excitement, and the thrill of getting caught is what makes it all worth it. They wait until Scott is finished, that way he can enjoy himself without being interrupted by the manager, and Annie clean herself up before heading back behind the bar. With Scott having had his fun, Kevin and Georgia head outside for a while, telling Annie that she needs to go have a smoke and that Kevin is going with her. Annie tells her that she'll keep an eye out for her and not to worry, as they will be here waiting for them to get back, but not to rush back since it's nice out there. Georgia grabs her purse so they can go outside without the manager suspecting anything. He sometimes becomes a pain in the butt by constantly following the employees and giving them grief over stupid things. Oh my goodness. This is great. After 20 minutes, they come back inside, but head straight toward the VIP room where he buys a session for 30 minutes so he continues to enjoy her company and explore her body on a deeper, more private level. Scott sees that Kevin is in the room, but wants to make sure that their main objective doesn't get away. So he excuses himself from the bar for a minute and heads over to talk to the targeted stripper in order to keep her from leaving the main area. "I'm happy to finally have someone come up to the stage," she dances in front of him as he acts interested while grabbing her butt. She tells him to spank her, to which he replies, "Later, and I promise you that you will be begging for it to stop." Not knowing how to take the comment, she laughs and continues to dance while he throws money at her, trying to keep her going until Kevin returns. But he isn't the type to do small talk and continues to ignore her as she tries to talk to him. So, what do you do? The stripper asks. Can you hear me? The stripper asks while he continues to remain silent. Why don't you talk? The frustrated stripper asks. Shh, just keep dancing. I'm enjoying your performance, Scott replies, just as she is starting to get freaked out. I'm going to get off the stage soon, just to let you know, the stripper informs him. That's okay. We can go by the bar and talk there if you want, Scott replies. How about you buy a dance? That way we can have a room all to ourselves, the stripper suggests. Let my bunny finish his dance, and then I'll decide on what we're doing. I came here for him, and he is not feeling himself lately, and I knew this would cheer him up, Scott replies. Okay, baby, but hurry. I would love to be on top of you, the stripper says in an urgent tone. Don't worry, you will be, and then under me as well, Scott replies with a straight face. 30 minutes goes by, then Kevin and Georgia finally emerge from the back. She is fixing her clothes and hair while he has a big smile on his face as he notices Scott standing next to the stripper by the bar. He nods in approval. Georgia excuses herself for a minute and promises to return as soon as she's done in the back. At this point, his mind is set solely on Goddess, and he waves a half-hearted goodbye to Georgia as he starts to walk away. He keeps his eyes on her until she is out of sight, but then his entire expression changes as he heads over to the bar. Awesome, you found some good company. Good for you. Go enjoy it if you want, bro, because it's almost closing time, and I know that later things won't be so pretty, Kevin says. It's okay. I'll enjoy it when it's effed up. It's only flesh and appearances. Both mean nothing to me. Scott replies, sounding bored. Oh, God. Then, mind if I join in on the conversation? Kevin asks. Not at all. This is your night, so do as you please, Scott answers. So, Goddess, what do you want to do tonight? Kevin asks her while making eye contact with Scott. Well, I was going to go home unless you have something better in mind, Goddess replies coyly. I could think of a few things. A few dominating things, Kevin smirks. Really? Goddess asks. Yes, trust me. There's an entire world to be explored. Let us guide you, Kevin says. I don't know. It sounds fun, and I've seen you before, but your friend's making me nervous, Goddess replies, as Scott continues to stare at her in silence. Nonsense. He's harmless. Consider him like my bodyguard. You will be safe because of his experience, and I've known him for a while now, and can't think of a better person to have by my side, Kevin says coaxingly. How about you give us both a dance? Okay, baby, Goddess answers. I'm taking you on your word about him, though because he's scary when he doesn't talk, it's like you don't know what's inside his head, and his expression gives nothing away. At least you smile and laugh, even if it's meant as an insult.